Howdy there, folks. I hope everybody's doing phenomenal as always out there. I went to Fashion Show Mall on Saturday. I went there and I noticed some very interesting things. I was there for probably 3 hours or so, took my wife shopping, and I gotta say, I noticed some very strange things going on, some very telling things on the state of the consumer, where this economy actually is at, the businesses that are going to really end up in some major trouble, and the businesses that are going to slide through, okay? And so I'm just going to explain to you, show you, take you through everything I saw. Now, I went to Fashion Show Mall on a Saturday afternoon. This is the busiest time. Like, literally, if you want to know the busiest time for Fashion Show Mall, it's, Saturday in the afternoon. Like, there's going to be no busier time than that. And so I was there at literally, like, peak busy time on a Saturday afternoon, right? And if you don't know Fashion Show Mall, it's the premier mall in Las Vegas, okay, the city I live in. And this is such a popular mall because it's the premier mall on the Strip. You're surrounded by Resorts World, the Wynn, and the Encore are right here. Fashion Show Mall, obviously, right here. You have Palazzo and Venetian right here. You have the new Sphere right there. You have Mirage right there. You have Treasure Island right there. By the way, if you want to know what that is, it's Planet. And by the way, I did go to Planet on Friday night, and I will tell you in this video what I witnessed at Planet. Very, very interesting, nonetheless, in regards to that. So this is obviously the most popular mall on the Strip in terms of just like people that are on the Strip going there, right? And Saturday afternoon's the busiest. And then this also attracts a lot of locals, right? Somebody like myself, to take my wife shopping there, and this is like if I ever need something, especially if it's a little like higher end something related, I'm going to usually go to Fashion Show Mall for that, okay? We have a few other malls here in Vegas, but this is like the best, okay? And what I witnessed at Fashion Show Mall was very, very telling, very telling. So let me take you through the whole process. I hope you guys enjoy this little bit of a different video here today. And appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being subscribed, okay? First off, this is my wife. Look at it. She's got the biggest cotton candy. This was at the Guest store, man. They had this guy making cotton candies there. They had a DJ at the Guest store. I was like, holy smokes, man, how much you guys paying for all this? That was quite interesting. Now, first store I went to, parked at Nordstrom. And I went to Nordstrom, okay? Now, what I saw at Nordstrom, and once again, this is a Saturday afternoon. This is the busiest time for this mall and for all these stores, right? Nordstrom, not very busy. Kids section, not very busy. So Nordstrom's 3 levels. It's a 3-level Nordstrom. It's massive, right? It's on the Las Vegas Strip. So top level, not very busy. Middle level, okay busy. Bottom level, decent busy in kind of like the beauty makeup area, and decently busy in the shoe area. But keep in mind, the shoe area at Nordstrom, specifically that Nordstrom, is usually a zoo. And the reason being is so many people go out Saturday night or, at nighttime and whatnot, that a lot of them go there for high heels and things like that. So that is got to be one of the highest volume shoe areas of any Nordstrom, literally in the United States of America. But I can tell you, it wasn't all that crazy busy at all at Nordstrom. It was, even for a Saturday afternoon, I might even say it was a little on the slower side, to be quite frank. Now, do keep in mind, Nordstrom just got done their big anniversary sale recently. So the people that were at that Nordstrom, those are just like, random people that are looking to shop around, right? And looking to shop at Nordstrom. If you're like a loyal Nordstrom customer, you already know they just had their big anniversary sale last week or a couple weeks ago. So these folks are just, randoms. Now, I own Nordstrom stock. Am I that worried about Nordstrom stock? No, it's already a dog stock as it is. So, if it goes down, it goes down. It is what it is. Great company for the long term. But in terms of, it's very telling that Nordstrom was not super busy, considering Nordstrom is, at the higher end, right? Nordstrom's got a higher end clientele base. A lot of people that make 100K plus, okay? From there, we went to the Guest store. The Guest store was decently busy. Probably one of the more busier stores we went to. Guest store is not huge. Keep that in mind. They had a DJ there. They were giving out free cotton candy. It was decently busy at the Guest store, like pretty good volumes. But once again, this is Saturday afternoon, so do keep that in mind once again, right? After we got done the Guest store, I just took a peek at the Apple store. Apple store, not very busy. I took a peek at it twice, once then, and then I took another peek at it later. Apple store was never busy. But do keep in mind, in regards to Apple, they're kind of just in a weaker business environment right now. They've had several quarters in a row where their revenue is actually down. So Apple's not in a big boom time in terms of like everybody going out there and buying some new Apple device and whatnot. And do also keep in mind, if people do need a new Apple device, a lot of them order it online as well. So it's not like you have to go to the Apple store at Fashion Show Mall. That store is massive and it was not very busy at all. But that's I've seen, any Apple store I've been by for the last several months is pretty much the same thing. They're pretty dang dead. They're actually pretty much the most dead I've seen in maybe my life, just to be quite honest, in terms of the Apple stores. There's nothing to go in the Apple store to be like, I got to test this. Like, it's the same damn iPhone they've had for 15 years, just with a little faster chips, and the same iPads and MacBooks. There's nothing to go into the Apple store and be like, I got to go try this. It's not like Apple store back in the day when it was like the iPod and the iPhone first came out and then the iPad first came out. Like, those were like, oh my gosh, everybody and their grandma wanted to go to the Apple store. Like, people would go out of their way to go to the Apple store. What are you going to go out of the Apple? There's no reason to. There's absolutely no reason to. And so anyways, now they build these massive stores nowadays, and it's quite interesting. Okay. Now, next store I thought was very interesting. This store is called White House Black Market. Okay. And so we go to this store, and this store was doing decent business, nothing crazy, but it's interesting because this store, they have a lot of, clothing that's kind of almost for like some business professionals and whatnot. And I even heard like this lady in front of us, I was waiting for my wife to try on a few things. And I heard this lady at the register, they were talking about, she's there for some sort of convention that's on the strip or whatever. And she needed to get, a couple nice tops or whatever, right? And so it's kind of one of those stores that might attract some more business professionals and things like that. And they were doing decent business, but they had, quite a few staff on. I think they had probably 6-7 people on, and they probably had, maybe 5 to 6 customers in the store. So it was decently busy. But I mean, when I say decently busy, it's not like I'm talking about these places are jam packed and it's like a can of sardines and you're trying to, get by. There's nothing like that. Okay. Then when I saw this concept, this was interesting. This place was called Major Waves Lab, and I'd never seen something like this in my life. Okay. Basically how it works is like you can customize your like Jordans and Air Force Ones and like different shoes. I don't know. I'm guessing they charge people to like use the space or something like that. But it was an interesting concept. That place was actually fairly busy, but it's not like people were buying stuff. They were like painting their shoes and doing all this wild stuff. So that was just an interesting new concept, I guess, that's out there. Okay. Neiman Marcus. So Neiman Marcus was next up. Now, Neiman Marcus, super high end. Neiman Marcus is where you're going to find Burberry, Balenciaga, all the highest end brands you could possibly imagine in the world are going to be in Neiman Marcus. Okay. So we were in Neiman Marcus, and once again, not very busy. Neiman Marcus was actually pretty dang dead. And for a Saturday afternoon on the strip, extremely dead, I would say. Okay. Now keep in mind, I mean, we were just, walking around that store and just looking at a few outfits and for the fun of it and whatnot. And I mean, these price points on some of this stuff are $1,000, multi-$1,000. Like, it's no joke as holy smokers in regards to these price points. But, a lady came over to us. Hey, can we help you see anything? Like, no. I just like crazy price points. I mean, something affordable in Neiman Marcus is like $500, okay? And so Neiman Marcus nonetheless was, in my opinion, for a Saturday afternoon was dead. Dead. I mean, if this was a Tuesday afternoon, it's a different story, but for a Saturday afternoon, pretty dang dead, okay? From there, things got much more interesting. We went to the Louis Vuitton store, okay? Now, my wife wanted to get some perfume from the Louis store, which is like $300. It's super expensive, okay? No joke, holy smokers, okay? Louis Vuitton store. So, first off, then they talk you into engraving the bottle or whatever, perfume, okay? And if you ever had that, you know what I'm talking about. So then we got to wait for that. And then she's like, says it's going to be like 5 minutes. And then she's like, oh, there's a backlog. It's going to take like 20, 30 minutes. Like, oh, okay, whatever, okay? I'm just messing around looking at the shoes. And, this lady tries to gas me up. Oh, you know a lot about shoes, don't you? I like those shoes you have on there. I don't know anything about shoes. I'm no sneakerhead or anything like that. I was like, oh, thanks. She's trying to gas me up to, get me to buy a $1,000 pair of Louis shoes, which Lord knows I ain't buying no $1,000. Like, me to spend $150 on a pair of shoes would be a lot. Never mind $1,000 like those Louis shoes are there or whatever. So I sit down in the chair, wait. My wife tries a purse or whatever, and, then she ends up sitting down. So, I'm just sitting there. I wasn't even on my phone because One, I try not to use my phone too much. Two, I can't get any reception. So I'm literally just sitting there. I could have been the security guard at Louis Vuitton, okay? And I'm watching everything that's going on in this Louis Vuitton store. I'm in this Louis Vuitton store for probably 30 minutes, okay? And I'm watching the main security guy, and I'm watching people come in and out. Some kids come in, a group of kids come in, 3 kids. When I say kids, I'm talking like late teenager ages, maybe between 18 and 21. Looking at shoes. They didn't buy anything. They walked out. Then another group of 3 kids comes in a little later on. What do? When I say kids, these are like boys, okay, like 18 to 21. What do they come in to do? Look at shoes. They try one of the shoes on. They put it back. They leave. Then, I'm just kind of seeing some women come in here and there, try a purse, look around. No one's buying anything. I mean, literally, no one's buying anything in this store. No one's like walking out with Louis Vuitton bags and this and that. It's just like, and I'm in the store for 30 minutes on a Saturday afternoon. And I'm just looking, and it's fascinating because this is the same Louis Vuitton store that 2 years ago had a line for people to go in. And when people went in, they were buying those purses. They were buying those handbags and those suitcases or whatever else they sell at Louis Vuitton, okay? They weren't just going into window shop. They were actually buying. But 2 years ago, it was a very different environment. It was an environment pumped with stimulus, with people that had way too much money, that didn't know what to do with the money because you couldn't go to concerts and all this stuff. And so what a change in 24 months. That this store, I'm in it for 30 minutes and I don't see anybody buying crap. Just some people, stragglers coming in, window shopping. All it was. And man, just crazy to think where that store was a couple years ago. But what's fascinating about a brand like Louis Vuitton? And this is kind of a sick way. I can't wait till, whenever we get this recession, whenever that is. Because I'm so sick of these high-end brands. These high-end brands have gone so crazy with their pricing. It's hard to get a decent Louis bag now for $3,000, $4,000 now. I don't know if you guys know the prices. It's gone insane. All these brands, these Louis Vuittons, these Rolexes, Lamborghini, Ferrari, they all make me sick. They've gone so extreme with their pricing because the economy was so good for so long. There was so much cheap money sloshed out there, so much stimulus money, that they all decided to go crazy with their pricing and play all these games. And now they're going to be in a pickle because based upon what I saw at that Louis Vuitton store, they're not doing volumes. And if you're not doing volumes, you can either choose to keep your pricing ridiculous and continue to charge $3,000, $4,000 for a handbag and continue to not do numbers, or you can lower your prices. Now, both those are bad options. If you lower your price, you're going to lower your margins. Not only that, you're going to piss off your core clientele base because all of a sudden they paid all these crazy prices for the last few years for Louis Vuitton bags. If all of a sudden you drop your prices big time because you want to start moving some sort of volumes, then your core customer base, like, what are you guys doing? You're diluting the brand. You're hurting us, man. So ultimately, they kind of almost have to bite the bullet and just not do numbers. And then that's going to make your revenues and your profitability look really, really flipping flapjack and bad, right? So that's a whole situation. I also took a look across the way. Across the way is a Tiffany store, okay? Tiffany store's got 1,000 workers in there, not doing a dang thing other than twirling their thumbs around, okay? Those guys and gals in there weren't doing a thing. Just slow on a Saturday afternoon at the Premier Mall in Las Vegas, Nevada, okay? This is very telling about the state of the consumer, in my opinion. And people looking at some of these high-end brands and saying, I just ain't got the money to spend there, or I don't want to spend that money there. I'm okay without the $3,000, $4,000 Louis bag, which is a very different perspective than we were at 2 years ago. 18 months ago even 18 months ago, we were in a very different environment, right? We didn't go into the Tory Burch store, but I took a peek by it. Another high-end purse store. I can't remember what exactly their price points are, but it's on the higher end, let's just put it that way. I didn't see anybody in the Tory Burch store, right? Which just kind of goes back to this, like, these high-end stores just, in my opinion, based upon what I saw, they look like they're starting to struggle, okay? We went into Foot Locker. Now, Foot Locker was pretty busy. Not like insane busy, but it was pretty busy. But keep in mind in regards to Foot Locker, right? Almost everything in Foot Locker is less than $150. Pretty much everything in that store is literally less than $150. Most things in it are less than $100, right? And so it's a store that, you know, it's kind of going to be fairly busy in almost any type of economic environment because their price points are pretty low. So it doesn't really matter if you're, you know, middle class or above middle class or whatever. Like, you can afford to go buy a pair of Nikes or a pair of, you know, whatever other sorts of shoes you want, and socks and this type of stuff they sell at a Foot Locker store, and athletic shorts and pants and stuff like that. Like, that's cake, right? So that's one of those stores that, regardless of the economic climate, they'll do okay. They'll make it through. They'll be what they're going to be, right? You know, it's a big difference between trying to sell a $4,000 handbag and a $100 pair of Nikes. I can tell you that. There's a big difference, right? Went into the Lego store, super busy, but the Lego store is teeny tiny too, so that kind of makes it look busier. Obviously, Lego store, like, you know, most things in there are less than $250. A lot of things are like, you know, $20, $50, $100, things like that, right? So Lego store was actually pretty busy. So based upon, and I'll tell you what I saw at the Planet store in just a moment, but based upon what I witnessed on a Saturday afternoon, the busiest day for that mall, what I witnessed, high end, not doing good. It looks to me like the high-end consumer is boycotting, okay? They're not out there spending. Maybe they know something's coming. Maybe they feel like something's coming. But the days of, you know, $4,000 Louis bags going left and right, and Tiffany's doing crazy volume, and all these high-end stores just putting up insane numbers, it just looks like those days are long gone now at this point in time. Inflation has really taken a toll on a lot of people over the last year and a half, if not 2 years. Really, inflation's been a problem for 2 years, right? It's really taken a pretty devastating toll from what I see out there. And it's hurt these high-end brands, and these high-end brands had got away with raising price to ridiculous levels for a long time. And it just looks like they're going to have to revert course if they want to move volumes, or they're going to have to suffer for a while until eventually the economy breaks and then comes out of that and you kind of have an upward move again. Or they're just going to be in a slower dynamic for a while, because it just doesn't seem like, you know, people are willing to part with that sort of money right now, or can. Because remember, a lot of these high-end brands, you might think it's only rich people shopping at Louis store. I'm telling you guys, I live in Las Vegas. I saw these lines back in 2021 at these stores, okay? People with their masks on. I'm telling you, these people in these lines of these designer stores, they're not rich. They were not rich people. They were not, a lot of these people, I can tell you, they probably weren't even middle class. But there was so much PPP money, stimulus money, all that crap, that people were going to those stores, buying all this stuff. And all these, you know, high-end brands think, oh my gosh, our demand's crazy. Because at that time, rich people were feeling really good. And you had a bunch of people that weren't rich people spending a ton of money on those luxury goods, right? So we're going into a real interesting time now, I can tell you that, because the game has changed, and it's changed in a major way, okay? Now, went to the Planet store. I hadn't been to the Planet store in forever. Went there on Friday night, okay, to get somebody something, okay? And it was fascinating, okay? First off, they had some robots in there. These robots must have been high as a kite, because I'm telling you, those robots weren't accomplishing a dang thing. I'm like, if this is what AI has, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay, folks, okay? We're going to be okay. These robots don't look like they're doing much of anything. But at the Planet store, great customer service as always. Planet store was fairly busy. I've definitely seen the Planet store busier than I saw it on Friday night when I was there. But it was pretty busy. Great customer service as always. Had to wait maybe 5-10 minutes to see one of the people to talk to. The one thing I thought was interesting was bought 3 bags of gummies. Guess how much it cost? A little over $30 total. I was like, that sounds really cheap, like too cheap, okay? So even a store like the Planet, hopefully they got some costs down, but I'm like, I don't remember you being able to get 3 bags of gummies for a little over $30. Seems a little low, okay? So I hope the individuals that got those enjoy those. But yeah, I was surprised when he said the total. I was like, that's it? Oh, in my head, I didn't say that out loud, but I'm like, hey man, we got to keep the store going. We think we need to go up on price or something like that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I appreciate y'all joining me as always, folks. I got some free workshops for you down as a pinned comment down there. I got one if you make less than $100,000 a year, and I have one if you make over $100,000 a year. It's investing in 2023 and beyond that should help you out. We're in a whole different game at this point in time. Much love and have a great day.